It's been a long day, man. It's been a long day.
Tell me about it.
Been getting after it.
You know what's weird?
Episode 26.
Episode 26, Bromos podcast.
I think.
I don't know. When I was a kid and you'd go to the gas station, I love the smell of gasoline. I know it's super random, but now that I'm an adult, I can't stand the smell. I got gasoline on my hands this morning, and I've had gasoline smell all day.
Next question: did you try washing your hands?
Dude, 17 times.
Okay.
What we did when we were like coming up was if you had like gasoline smell, you would take a lime or a lemon and scrub it.
Go ahead, keep talking.
Why are you?
Why are you like a little closer? I'm trying to make sure we're both. Because I mumble.
Don't touch when I'm talking.
I mumble. I'm trying to make sure
I'll knock
that
this shit off the table.
You pronounce better than me.
So, yeah, man, I did everything. I did the lime on the finger. I washed my hands with
Crisco?
lime.
Did you try Crisco?
I didn't go with Crisco because I was at work and I was like, it's gonna be a little bit weird.
All right.
But is there like I had to Google this shit and I was shocked at how many like different ways there are to get gasoline smell off your hands. I didn't think that was an actual.
Try Purell. Could you find any Purell?
Bro, I did regular pump. I did I sprayed my hands with Lysol at one point. I did like the bacteria killer thing, like the one we have right here, the gel.
Purell.
I don't think I had any Purell.
That's Purell, the bacteria.
Yeah, well that's except it was in a spray, like a little.
Right.
So the point is, man, don't get there's that noise. Don't get gasoline on your hands or learn how to pump gas. And maybe that wouldn't happen, but it's a fucking weird way to start my day, man.
Gasoline on your hands, huh?
Yeah, it just put me like in a weird place. Like I got to work and I was kind of like I just started obsessing about it. Like, what the fuck, man? How do I get this shit off my
Not like Ronnie to obsess about something.
Well, it's what it is.
So, yeah, I just, it's been a long day. Got out this morning. Of course, I worked out. And
Nobody
then,
cares, but go ahead.
And then went down to Houston Open. We had a couple of athletes competing and watched a few matches and was there most of the afternoon. Our guys did pretty well, and I was pretty proud. Andrew, not a shock, won his division. Taylor did well. He lost in the semis. I really thought he was better than that guy. He could have beat that guy, but just the way the match went, how competition goes. Sometimes you get to a bad spot, it's hard to recover from it. Plus, I think he was a little tired from the first match. He had a hard first match. And that first IBJJF competition is always a killer because if there's so many people competing and there's so many people around, like the adrenaline dump from that first shot, like it's such a hard thing to get through. It really drains you, and it's hard if you're not used to it. It's really hard to recover for a second or third match. Like, man, so I think that's kind of what Taylor was suffering through a little bit. Like, he just was not explosive like he normally is. Because we all roll with him, and even though he's a white belt, he's tough, man. He's strong, he's explosive. His technique is good. Like, he really, he's going to be really good at jiu-jitsu. And I think he just lost his strength and endurance after that first match is what it looked like. But they did great. Drew did really good. I wasn't surprised at all. He cut weight. I didn't realize how much he cut weight down to.
I thought I saw him the other day.
He was down to He was down to 208. He went to 208 for this one.
Dude, funny story about Drew. I don't know if it was sometime this week. I saw him. He was getting ready to get on the mats. He's wearing his gi and he didn't have a rash guard on. So I look at him. No, it's because I told Brian about it. So like I see him and he's not wearing a rash guard. So I was like, "Hey Drew, come here," and I point at rule number 5 on the board, which is the whole rash guard thing. And he goes, he's like, "Professor told me not to wear it so I can get used to it, so because I'm competing." And I was like, I totally forgot. I was like, "Yeah, man, do your thing," because they had told him that in Taylor.
Well, I had saw him not wearing a rash guard the other day. And I just was like, I'm not,
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not.
Yeah, you don't care about.
I hate to say this. The teacher was out, so the substitutes were there, so I just kind of let it go. And so I just snitched myself out to Brian. I'm letting shit go. But,
no, law and order over here. I was like, hey, over here. What's rule number 5? And he was like, Professor Bryce. And I was like, all right, you may proceed.
I'll tell you what's funny. I saw several people. I saw at least 3 people have to hobble off the mat from footlocks today. Yeah, it was a couple toe holds and I think a straight ankle I saw. And I didn't hear anything pop, but these guys weren't walking. They were hobbling off the mat, having to get helped off the mat. Like at least it was 2 black belts and a female purple belt. And I was like, that's interesting. Like the footlocks are kind of. It's fun to watch these tournaments to kind of see the trend of what's starting to pick up, and you just see like You know, I remember when the berimbolo phase was going on, everybody was hitting berimbolos at competitions. Now all of a sudden, it looks like the footlock is starting to kind of come back. Guys are attacking feet a little more aggressively, and not just using them for sweeps and setups, but to actually finish. And I saw a couple. You know, there's 2 high level black belt matches where I saw it happen, and I was like, huh. I mean, it was pretty interesting, man. I saw some good fights. There's no real big names out there. I don't know. Like it seems like the big names that come to Houston are kind of trailing off. We don't have any big names anymore, but it's still really good. Some really good competitors.
You know, talking about that whole first tournament thing, like when you do like your first one, one of my actual first tournaments was, you'll probably know what it's called. It's a thing where they invite a bunch of cops. Everybody goes to Austin, and it's almost like, I think it's called the Cop Games or something.
Police games.
That one. So you can bring a guest.
Yep.
And so Forrest brought me, and when it was a jiu-jitsu tournament. It was my first one. I just got my blue, and it was like in a conference room, and it turns out that it wasn't very organized. Like literally, we get there, and they were like, "Well, who can ref?" Like they're literally looking around for like anybody that could ref. So like some higher belts kind of jumped on, and Forrest ended up reffing half the day, and some other brown belt, and so it was just weird. But my first match was in gi. And I get this, and it wasn't even like a bracket system. It was just kind of like, okay, you're a blue belt, let's put these guys together. So weight wise, it was just like all over the place. And I got this plug of a dude, man, just this yoked out guy, and we were both blue belts. So I was like, all right, whatever. We literally, and I found the video recently. No, I'm not gonna post it. It's 5 minutes of us.
You have to post it.
Grip fighting. We're grip fighting.
You need to put it on fast forward, and we'll post it to the page.
It was so terrible. It was 5 minutes of us holding each other. It was 3 minutes of us holding each other with about 2 minutes of actually getting into the ground. He got 2 points. I got 2 points. He got 2 points. I got 2 points. Clock runs out, and there's it was like a minute overtime or something. And I'll never forget. I walk over to Forrest, and I'm spent. Like, I'm done. Like, hey, can we go home done?
Right.
I put my arms on Forrest, and he's like, all right, he's like, you got 1 minute. He's like, we just got to it's the first point to win. And I'm just like, I can't breathe. I can't feel my arms. Like, my forearms were on fire. I literally could not make a grip. I couldn't breathe. And then, Forrest, he's like, yeah, don't worry about that. He's like, I just need you to go in there, just 1 more minute, get this takedown or get 1 point. And sure enough, we get in there. Blue belts, by the way. We lock up. He tries to pull. I kind of get into this weird, shitty, like half-assed, terrible knee cut pass. He does something, and next thing I know, dude, he goes after my foot. Toe hold. Mm-hmm. He goes for a toe hold, and when he goes for it, I was like, oh, shit, all right, well, because, it's usually the second guy that catches it, and I catch this dude in a toe hold, and I submit him with the toe hold in overtime. First match of the day. But, like, it's funny because you're talking about today, the trend being back to footlocks. Well, we shouldn't have been doing toe holds at this tournament. Like, it was, literally, the rules meeting was like, you guys want to do, like, leg locks? All right, cool. When the higher belts went, like the purples and browns, first match, somebody got their knee blown out.
Oh, I believe it.
So then they were like, all right, do y'all still... They were like, hey, do y'all still want to do footlocks? And they were like, well, yeah, you can't change the rules in the middle of the tournament. Yeah, so, it was like all the higher belts, it was all like heel hooks and stuff they were doing. I was doing a toe hold I won my first match with a toe hold as a blue belt. Had no feelings in my arms for the rest of the day. But like, man, that first tournament, man, that first match is the one that'll get you because you'll exert so much energy. You have that stupid dump. And then you're like, all right, you got maybe 2 minutes to rest if you're lucky, and then you got to go right back out there again. So I kind of feel like I know exactly what Taylor must have went through because that first one.
Yeah.
But once you get that first one in your system, that first tournament, then it's just like,
a little bit better. I know. Well, you know what to expect. Yeah. The worst thing that happens to me, I always get super dehydrated after my first fight. Like it'll be like I'll be 2 minutes in, and suddenly it doesn't matter how much water I've had. Doesn't matter. Nothing matters. My mouth will go super dry, and I'll be like, I can't wait to finish the fight just so I can get some water.
But you're talking about during the fight.
Yes, I'll feel it during the fight. It's so weird. Like, I just get dehydrated. I mean, it must be all these muscles, like, sucking all that stuff up.
Sucking all the water, those fake muscles, those gym muscles.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably not it.
Muscles.
Yeah, I don't have that problem.
No, I don't know. It's happened to me a couple times, and then when I get done, all I can think about is somebody please give me some water or usually Gatorade's the best if I got another fight coming up because I need those electrolytes and sugar and stuff. But man.
So this was an IBJJF tournament, right?
It's the Houston Open.
Okay, so
it's always well run. That's the good thing about it. It's well run. It's pretty much on time, so it's good.
I hear nothing but great things when people talk about IBJJF in the sense of like how organized it is. Mm-hmm. You know exactly what your bracket looks like. You know exactly well, give or take a few minutes. You know exactly when you're going to compete. But it's a well-oiled machine. So for all the good that I hear about it, it kind of makes me wonder because. I guess like with everything, you got to take the good and the bad because here recently a bunch of athletes got their registrations, I guess, or their is that what it would be called? They got
they're not recognized by
yes, so they got their stuff suspended basically because they're not being recognized by IBJJF because they were all under the umbrella of the
which basically means they can't compete in the IBJJF competitions.
So
proper association.
I read this long thing that the Globetrotters put out, or you read it to me. I think.
Well, we should set it up, right?
Yeah.
So Globetrotters got a letter from IBJJF saying that their athletes will no longer be recognized because they expect, because they're not being directly monitored or trained by their professors. These are people they just see during camps.
Yeah.
And they get promotions at camps that IBJJF isn't going to recognize it. I think it's funny, though. It comes on the tail end, or it comes right after Globetrotters came out with that belt checker thing. Yeah. And suddenly this pops up. And I can't help but think there's some connection to that.
The timing seems
very odd, right? And I could be wrong. It could be coincidental, but it just seems weird, the timing of it. And I don't know. Like I don't know why. The other question I have is, who made IBJJF, like, God of Jiu-Jitsu?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because that was my initial thought about this whole thing was I'm indifferent. Like I don't really give two shits whether you compete at IBJJF or not. I don't care. I think it sucks for the athletes that aren't going to be recognized until they can get that whole thing sorted out. But I think what did bother me was exactly that, feeling like how does IBJJF have like such a monopoly where you can do all these local tournaments and win golds or whatever, but it's like there's that prestige about, well, you're not shit until you win an IBJJF tournament. And that's the piece that I struggle with is like, why has the community allowed that to be a thing where it's like they have the final say in everything? We've seen cases where there's a lot of favoritism because of who they are, and now it's like here you just told a bunch of athletes that they can't compete under your tournaments anymore. Why isn't the community up in arms more where it's like, okay, well, fuck this, let's boycott them? Nobody's gonna do that.
No.
In fact, it's the opposite. Motherfuckers are probably like, oh my god, sweet, now there's not gonna be 20 people in my division, maybe there's only be 4. I got a shot. Medal.
Globetrotters ain't that big. I mean, it's a small. Globetrotters is not a huge group.
I heard they had 1,000 athletes that were now homeless, so to speak.
But I mean, if you look at that in the grand scheme, that's going to be white through black belt. Like, it's not going to be that big an impact. I don't see a lot of Globetrotter patches at tournaments.
I've never met anybody that's like, I train under this umbrella.
I mean, because so I went to one Globetrotter camp and it was cool, but their guys are really good. Like, I know one of the guys I trained with, he's a 22-year-old black belt, competes at Polaris events and is like a highly ranked guy. All their instructors are really good. It's top-notch guys. They're European guys, but I mean Americans too. But yeah, it's a nuts thing. They have control over their own events, right? It's just they're so big, and they've become like the go-to events for most jiu-jitsu athletes because of how well run they are. Everybody it has grown into what it is. But they only have control over their events. This doesn't control like EBI or Naga or grappling games or you name the other event. It doesn't control those or Fight to Win or whatever. They promote these sub-only promotions. It doesn't have any control over that. Like, Gordon Ryan was competing in EBI like as a 5-year black belt or whatever it was. But he still couldn't compete in IBJJF tournaments because they wouldn't recognize his black belt because he hadn't been training the minimum number of years for them to recognize it.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
But didn't he win Nogi Worlds like
recently?
Yeah.
But when he first came on, yeah, he had to wait a couple of years before they would even recognize his black belt. And that's ridiculous when he's beating the top athletes in the world, and John Danaher and Renzo Gracie are giving him a black belt. Like,
that's pretty legit.
That's pretty fucking legit, right? You know, I mean, so I don't know. IBJJF is just growing into a powerful organization, but they only have control over their stuff. It's just they do so much. And yeah, the tournaments, the rule sets they are what they are. They're kind of old school jiu-jitsu.
Right. And we have world champions based on a penalty on an advantage these days. It's just like,
yeah, and so it is what it is. It's truly sport jiu-jitsu. Hey, look. It is what it is. It's truly sport jiu-jitsu. Yeah. But it's just so well run, and all the top athletes go there. So it's always, I mean, it's a good experience when you compete at IBJJF events.
So I had dinner with a mutual friend of ours last night, and he was telling me that he's got it on good authority that the reason that this whole thing became a thing was because, again, secondhand information, that the globetrotters, what they were doing was they were basically giving out their password and login to athletes that needed to be under an umbrella to register to compete at an IBJJF event. And when IBJJF found out, that's when they were like, hold up, like you can't just have people just using your stuff to be recognized in our federation. Right. I don't know if there's any truth to that. That's what I was just told last night, which all of it kind of somewhat made sense, that I guess I could see that happening. But at the same time, I'm like, I see what Professor Brian does here, and I can't imagine that someone would be like, hey man, I'm coming in town, can you just get me registered for this tournament? Like, I don't see Professor Brian do something like that.
Right, but Globetrotters is so different. Like, it's such a different organization where they're it's a very it's a good time, but it's a different vibe than what you're used to, than what we're used to with jiu-jitsu, with their little community. And I didn't know it when I went, but like, yeah, they all go to these same camps, like all together all the time. And there's so many camps. And so it's like they have their own little community, so to speak. Yeah. I don't know another word for it. So I could totally see them doing that. And I could totally see them thinking it's legit. This is my point as well. You know, if they're a legit black belt and their main training, or whoever they kind of do Ronin, because there's a lot of, with the Globetrotters too, people can actually connect with other people in other countries and like crash on their couch and train at their gyms. Like it's almost set to like backpack jiu-jitsu throughout the world. So there's a lot of that going on. So guys may not even be under a specific affiliation. They just like to train a lot, and so they train mostly with Globetrotter affiliated schools, and then that's kind of how they get their training in. And then because these instructors all communicate, like their top guys all communicate with each other. Because I saw a couple of promotions when I was at a Globetrotter camp. They'll get together and they'll promote a couple of guys at some of their camps, you know, and they kind of look at it like that. So it's not like they're being not watched or supervised or seen. It's just the way they do it's a little different. And I thought it was petty of IBJJF to do that to their athletes. Because if they're at that level and they can compete, let them compete. If they get beat, they get beat. If they win, they win. Like, I don't see what, you know what I'm saying? Like, if they can show that they're training and there's something there that shows they're training and they're at that level, let them compete. Like, why? I think it's I thought it was a little petty, but I mean, if they're doing something that's against IBJJF rules, I don't know if that is, that I can see it. But I thought it was petty, because those guys they should be allowed to compete, and it only makes your events better. Yeah, you know, like, why make more money? Why limit the number of competitors if you don't have to?
Whatever happened with this whole Hickson Cup? Remember, Hickson started his whole.
I have no idea.
He started
had his another federation, and it was going to be. I don't remember what the whole thing was with that, but
it was weird because it was almost like anti IBJJF because he was sick of like you know the sport side of it, and I remember the rule set was going to be a little bit different. The thing I remember standing out to me about that federation was that it was supposed to be where there would be no advantages. Like, it was that was like the big thing.
But it's been a few years since that came out.
Yeah, I wonder if there's still.
I think it died.
I don't ever remember hearing anybody say, "Hey man, are we going to you competing at the Hickson Cup?"
Unless there's like 3 people in it.
You know, the only thing I remember about the Hickson Cup is that there's a video online with the Mendes brothers literally dancing around people, murking people at the first ever Hickson Cup. It was so terrible for the other people to watch, but it was the most beautiful thing you'll ever see in your life. If you guys have a chance, go to YouTube and type in.
I miss the Mendes brothers.
Mendes brothers Hickson Cup. Oh my God, it's one of the greatest highlight videos you'll ever see in your life. They put music to it.
I miss those guys competing and Cabrina and all. God, those are some amazing matches. Like their jiu-jitsu is so beautiful, and I don't even know anybody that's comparable to them right now with their jiu-jitsu. You know, like just the beauty of it. Like they really made it an art form.
Yeah,
and it was
the art of jiu-jitsu was the
legit,
best. Yeah,
literally they were the art of jiu-jitsu.
They really were. Man.
I miss those guys competing because they did stuff that was just looked amazing.
I mean, I mirrored my game after them. So, oh wait, you're not gonna let me finish?
No, good.
Yeah. So they're like my heroes, and I like to move just like them.
Bullshit.
So,
anyway, moving on to the next topic. So.
Competing wise.
So what's going on with so I guess all in the news today lately, the coronavirus doesn't seem to want to go away.
Yeah.
To the point now it's affecting sporting events around the country, including I guess Third Coast Grappling had to completely change their lineup because of this coronavirus.
Man, they had some heavy hitters lined up at this event that's going to go down, I believe, next Saturday. Is that what we said?
The 14th,
yeah, the 14th. That is. Yeah. And so it was weird because when we first talked about it, Professor literally almost was like, it was funny. It was like breaking news. Like we were in the middle of class, we got a water break, and he came back in and he was like, "Hey, literally just got this. They're pretty much initially they were going to scrap the event for the 14th because a whole bunch of their athletes weren't going to be flown in." What I was confused about was I didn't understand initially if it was a voluntary thing from a safety standpoint where Third Coast took a stand and said, "Hey, for safety reasons, we don't think it's a good idea to be flying people all over right now with this virus going around." Or I also had heard that there was travel restrictions that they had put on the athletes and they couldn't get to Houston or whatever, and that was affecting it. And when they lost a bunch of names, they were like, "We're just gonna scrap the whole thing." I don't really know all the details, but Professor basically said that they were going to salvage the event by making it like an all Texas event. So there's going to be some pretty cool stuff from what I've seen still. It looks almost like Brian's going to be the headliner from what I saw just a few minutes ago.
It'll still be a good event. I mean, it's not what it was. I mean, anytime, obviously Gordon Ryan and was it Gaudio? How do I say his name?
I don't know how to say his name, but that was going to be a hell of a fight.
That was this is gonna be awesome,
man. That dude was owning's a strong word. He was beating Ryan at ADCC trials and literally was up on points, and Gordon pulled off some crazy shit with like seconds to go and took his back and beat him just barely. That dude, I think it would have been but then again, that was like 3 years ago, and Gordon seems like every time that he goes up against someone that maybe had got the best of him,
except for one guy.
Felipe Pena, don't bring that dude up. That's his kryptonite. But
yeah, you don't want to hear it.
But man, it was going to be a really good card, and so now they're doing like a Royal Rumble match. I think with blues or purples. I think it's blues. Did you hear about this? How it's?
They did something like this before though, like a couples match.
They did a couples match. Yeah. They did. That to me was it was extremely confusing.
I didn't watch it. I don't know.
It was a weird setup. I liked the idea of it, but it didn't make sense.
Experimenting, which is cool. Like it's cool to try to experiment and bring something fun and new in. I get it because you're bringing in high level stuff anyway. So throw in an experimental match to see how it works out. There's nothing wrong with that. And if it works out, cool. If it doesn't, then just let it go and move on to the next.
I'm excited to see this whole Royal Rumble blue belt match. I think it's blue belts, and my understanding is they're gonna bring in two dudes.
Are they gonna have like buckles and? Like,
I don't know how that's gonna work.
Are they gonna be able to do like DDTs?
My thing though, the stage is usually not really
small.
set up for having like a Royal Rumble. Like someone's going off that stage. I don't think it's but two guys start every minute interval. They're gonna bring in another blue belt. So it's kind of weird because it's
kind of like when we play.
It's literally like a Royal Rumble. Like there's gonna be strategy involved.
Someone's gonna get hurt.
I think somebody's gonna get hurt.
I think it might be a bad idea.
Well, here's the thing. Like one of the things
you're gonna have a lot of refs in there.
One of the things that I find interesting is when I warm up the kids and they're running, I play a game with them where I count how many of us total on the mat, and then I'll start shouting out a random number. So I'll say 4, and I'll scream it, and everybody has to run to make a pair of 4. If you don't make a group of 4, you do push-ups. We start running again. Then I'll yell out some other random number. They run. But what I noticed when I first did this game was that, and this was not intentional, I didn't realize how much friendships and alliances were going to be created and destroyed. Like kids that I thought were like besties, when it came down to either making your group or doing push-ups, they were literally Spartan kicking kids out of their group to make their 4 so they wouldn't have to do push-ups. And I was just like, it was the funniest thing to me because I was like, man, I thought y'all two were besties. Nope. Now when it comes to push-ups, this is what I'm thinking about with this Blue Belt Royal thing. It's like, you're going to see real quick alliances form, people that have trained with each other. Because think about it, man.
I don't know the rule set. I don't know.
Well, I was never a WWE guy growing up. I remember Hulk Hogan and some of those guys, but I was never like into wrestling like most kids were. But I remember the Royal Rumble that it was a free for all. I was like the last man standing, and the rule set was every minute or two they would bring in somebody else. So there would be a chance that at some point you would have one of your good buddies on the mats with you. So now you've got to figure out.
Help each other out. I guess they're going to draw straws for who goes in.
I don't know.
I'm sure it'll be interesting. I'll probably check it out.
Yeah.
Because this stuff's on YouTube, so you can just pull it up. But I don't know. I'll give them credit for sure for trying to bring. They're bringing really high level matches, and they're being experimental and trying some different stuff.
So I told I was talking to somebody about this recently about their events and how innovative they are, and I said, this is probably not a greatest analogy, but I said, I feel like Third Coast Grappling is like the Pizza Hut of promotions, and what I mean by that is, hold on, hear me out. Hear me out. I think that Pizza Hut has some of the most innovative ideas when it comes to their pizza. They do stuff that's just like, wow, how did you guys think about this? But at the end of the day, I think their pizza's like not very good. It's greasy.
Actually, their pizza's terrible.
Okay,
when you bring their pizza,
I was like,
they have like the worst.
I'm trying to be nice.
Pizza ever.
I'm trying to be nice. I think their
Little
pizza,
Caesars is better than Pizza Hut.
Oh God. But the point I'm making is like I can appreciate
CC's is
how
better than Pizza Hut.
I can appreciate how innovative Pizza Hut is with their ideas.
DiGiorno is better than Pizza Hut.
DiGiorno is pretty strong, dude. You're making me hungry. But that's kind of
good pizza. California Kitchen.
They're a little too.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me!
Nah,
I love California Kitchen. Pizza.
I've been there once or twice.
Papa John's is strong.
Papa John's is pretty strong.
And then Domino's is always a surefire.
Hey man, they're falling off again. They were coming strong. Hold on, they were going strong for a while with their garlic, the seasoning, the garlic seasoning they were put on the crust.
That was great.
Yeah, man. I don't know if they budget cuts again, but
so I gotta, I treat my body like a temple. So
same. So if we could stop talking about pizza, that'd be really good. Because
I know what Ronnie's doing on his way home.
I'm like, pizza, gross. Nobody likes that.
Domino's.
No, actually, we're making dinner.
Can you meet me at my house in about 20 minutes?
Right. No, wifey's there. She'll take care of it. So. But yeah, that's kind of how I see them. I think they have very innovative ideas. I can appreciate the fact that they're experimenting with stuff. But there's things that I don't care for, like, the stage setup, that whole...
I've only seen it on YouTube, and it seems like it's a small setup.
It's extremely small. Like, here's a small thing that... I'm not going to call it criticism, but more, an observation. It's, they had the kids, Third Coast Grappling a few weeks back, and they had it at that same bar, and it was just weird, because it's like... Why are you having a kids event at a bar? Mm-hmm. And they were still serving alcohol, which I was like, that doesn't seem like a good idea. And then the warm up area was literally like one square mat in a hallway leading you into the restroom, and it was just kind of like, this is the best way. Well, I guess they're
working it out. I mean, but they were still bringing in high level guys and they're paying them. So I mean,
they're doing something right.
I'm not
disputing that at all, but I just feel like their venues sometimes can be a little bit hit and miss. That's the only thing that I would say is, like, I like their ideas. I like their rule sets because you have a winner, I'm not a fan of these, I'll say the submission hunter stuff where, like, there's a draw. It's like, that's some weak nut shit. Like, it's
I bet you they change that eventually because, I guess Fight to Win has a winner.
I don't think they will. I think that in their minds, they feel like it's called Submission Hunter, so if you want to be rewarded, then you need to be hunting for the submission. And I get it. It's a very valid point. But honestly, man, when you get up on that stage...
People go for draws. They'll go for draws. They know they're outmatched.
They're like, fuck the money. Like, I just don't want to get tapped out.
You're going to go for a draw.
And that's where they fail as a promotion.
Fight to Win seems like they're doing pretty good. Seth Daniels is being gangster over there, calling everybody out, sucking up their athletes.
Oh yeah, they took a bunch of their athletes that back
man.
or that day.
He's so gangster, dude. He's something else.
His Seth
got a great promotion though.
His Seth sucks at jiu-jitsu on YouTube. His channel.
It's hard not to love it, right?
Dude. How can you not love a guy like that? That's like,
totally.
Hey man, it is what it is. This blue belt today caught me. This is what he caught me.
Totally self-deprecating. Gets on there. It's great.
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
He seems like someone you definitely would want to hang out with.
Yeah, so they're doing good stuff there. And you know what's been weird is so I can't remember which promotion we were trying to figure it out. One just straight up didn't pay their athletes and filed bankruptcy recently.
Oh wow!
And it was it's not Subspectrum, but it's something.
You've got Kasai.
Definitely not Kasai.
Polaris.
It's not one of those super high level ones.
Subverse, or something like that. There's a couple out there right now.
I know. I may have been Subversive or something like that.
Yeah.
It was one with sub in the name, like at the beginning. Mm-hmm. And so all the promoters were just jumping in, banging on him real hard. Like Seth Daniels went hard on the guy. Was like, you knew 2 weeks out or 3 weeks out or whatever that you didn't have the money, because this is how promotions work. You already knew, and you still did it, and it was like they went hard on him. I guess they saw like an opportunity to really pile on somebody, so they're like, yeah, because they're all competing with each other, right? They're competing with each other for athletes and events and things like that. So I guess it kind of makes sense, but. Yeah, like there's a little bit of that, when Metamoris did that. Oh
yeah, that turned into a shit show real quick.
Man,
let me ask you about that, because there's always some sort of drama or politics when it comes to jiu-jitsu, in the sense of like a new academy opening up, right?
Yeah.
Well, who's by there? Am I too close to this guy? Are we trying to this guy feels like you're trying to take students or whatever it is. There's always going to be some hurt feelings there. And I was talking recently to Holly about this, and she was saying how it doesn't make sense, because she made it very simple. She said, there's enough jiu-jitsu to go around. And I've heard that from several people. Like, there's enough jiu-jitsu to go around for everybody. Mm-hmm. But it seems like these promotions now, like, they're purposely going out of the way to try to, like, have their events on the same night, where it becomes like UFC versus boxing.
Well, UFC used to do that. They'll do that with boxing. They were doing that with remember Affliction had their little promotion.
Oh, they would purposely
intentionally put their events in the same.
Strike Force, Affliction.
So they bought it out. Yeah.
They were purpose. But see, that's my thing. It's just like, damn, guys. Like, is it that serious where people can't have a promotion?
Business, brother.
I get it, but wouldn't it make more sense for everybody? But wouldn't it make more sense for everybody to say, okay, look, you're having your promotion on this day. All right, cool. Well, I'm gonna have it.
No, because you're trying to it's money. You're trying to steal money. I mean, it's. I get it, man. It's.
But what I'm saying, but I feel like when you purposely try to sabotage each other's events, everyone loses, because you could have potentially went from having a whole bunch of money to splitting that those profits, because now, however you want to look at it, there's another promotion going on.
I think they look at it they're looking at it like we're trying to bury that promotion, so they're gone. So that we get the UFC did then. So we get all. So that's more for us. That's more athletes for us. That's more people coming to our events. It's more people spending money in our events. It's more people, whatever, tuning in. I'm not sure if they're getting paid off the YouTube stuff, but probably with advertisers and stuff. It's more money with advertisers. I think it's just about business and about. It's a dog eat dog world, so you're going to try to suck up as much of it as possible. And if you see an opportunity to bury another organization that is your competitor, you're going to do it, bro. That's business, man. That's capitalism. Welcome to America.
I hear you.
Keep America great.
Let's build that wall, man, already.
Well, 140 miles has already been built. I don't know if you heard Trump talking about it. He said nobody's passing through that wall. Everything going around it.
Yes, raise the roof, sir. 2-year Trump. I don't know, man. I just feel like, I guess because in my eyes, I always think of jiu-jitsu being something like,
How long you been training?
Almost 13
How many
years.
times we talked about what we thought was going on to what we know is going on now?
Yes, but still in there, I still want to believe that it inherently, that jiu-jitsu is good and that it does good things.
Good, but it's
so I don't get this whole like cutthroat attitude where it's like, I'm going to try to bury this academy, or I'm going to try to bury this promotion. It's just like, man.
I don't know if academies try to bury each other too much. I think they're pretty good about not encroaching on each other as best they can.
I've been in academies where people, like the instructors, will dog out another academy or another instructor. And it's just like, to me, that's the thing that's not cool, because I felt like that's a subtle thing you're doing, but at the end of the day, I feel like if you have a great product, then you don't need to shit on other people's products.
I agree.
That's a thing that I've never enjoyed. Like, hey man, it's like you don't have to make fun of other academies or other students.
I think it's a red flag. If you got an academy talking shit about another academy,
yeah,
or a professor over there, like intentionally, not in private conversation where you're like, oh, this guy, because we all know a little dirt here and there.
Yeah.
But if you're intentionally with your students making negative comments about another professor at another academy with the intention of that's the red flag for me. That's a big red flag.
Dude, we should totally talk about this next week. Red flags when joining an academy.
Oh, that's a great topic.
Dude,
that'll take all 45 minutes because there's so many things to look for.
Yeah.
Not just there's things between, not just like that, but the way they set the tone with their students, the type of students you see running around, like the type of attitude you see from their students and how they train and the mentality of the cliques and stuff inside of academy.
Yeah.
There's so many things to look for that can make for an unhealthy training environment. Yeah. That's a great topic. We'll definitely do that one. So I think I got a good deer white belt that I picked up on today.
There was open mat today, right?
I didn't go to open mat because I lifted and then I didn't have time to go to open mat and make it in time for the matches.
Yeah,
so I lifted and then I went straight down to Cypress because it's like a 40-minute freaking drive from here.
So what happened?
So all right, so deer white belt. When you're at your first competition, and yes, it's exciting, it's fantastic, and if you win or you place on a podium, that's super awesome. Like, congratulations, you worked hard and you earned that, and you should be proud. But don't be so proud that you wear your medal out into lunch and all this stuff. So we're sitting, we go, our little group, our little group is kind of, between, it was Brian and Tyler and that whole little crew that we've all been hanging out forever. Go to lunch, and sure enough, here comes a guy walking in with his medal on.
In his gi? Or?
Not in his gi, which would not have shocked me, right?
Dude, it would have been super cool if he was in a gi.
Oh, it would have been so much better. But not in his gi, but just walking around with his medal on. And we were... everybody at that table's been training a long time. So he was like...
Really?
This guy's wearing his medal around. And it's like, hey, it's cool. I mean, you're proud, but put the medal up, man. Like, what are you doing? So deer white belt, like, I get it. But don't... two things, since you brought it up. Do you remember, like, years ago, I sent you a picture of a guy at the movie theaters in his gi? And he was a Third Coast guy, as a matter of fact.
I don't remember that.
Man, I went to the movies years ago, and I saw a Third Coast guy in his gi. It was a white belt, of course. In his gi at the movie theater.
Like, top and belt?
Straight up top and belt tied and flip-flops. At the gi, and he was a Third Coast guy. And at the movie theater. And I was like, wow. Like, I don't even have words for that. I was like, wow. So don't wear your gi outside the academy. And if you win a medal, take a picture with it and then put it in your bag and move on with your day.
Or wear your gis in public, but just send us pictures and then we'll post them up for you because that would be awesome.
Oh, God. Never going to get...
Best picture gets a private from this guy, all right?
No.
Man, I'm gonna say something about the whole medal thing as a white belt. That tournament that I told you about which was technically one of my first official tournaments.
Yeah.
I medaled. I think I came in second or something at the Cop Games. Drove back from Austin, went straight to the paintball field, and I had to show my business partners. I literally got out of the car wearing my medal, wore it from Austin all the way to Houston, drove straight to work just to show it to my guys, and they clowned me so hard that literally my feelings were hurt. They were like, where'd you get that medal? How many people in your division? 1 or 2? Or you were the only one that showed up? And it was just like, they destroyed me, dude. So I learned as a blue belt, like...
Put your medal up.
Put your fucking medal up. Like, nobody gives a shit.
No, they don't. Honestly, I've never been a big, like, that big... I remember my first tournament we ever did, we were at Elite, and they had that tournament, that Elite run. I think it was called Animal.
Yeah.
And it was a big tournament. Like, it was everybody... Because it was, like, everybody... It wasn't that many jiu-jitsu academies around, but pretty much all the jiu-jitsu academies came out to compete. And I think I got second in no-gi. I think I was second in no-gi in my division and no-gi absolute. Because I remember I went with this big dude, some MMA fighter. I oh man, like everybody knew him. I didn't even know who he was till we started fighting. What was funny was, his cornering me was Damon, your buddy that you paid a private for.
Ponder, yeah.
Yeah. Oh. And so I remember he was cornering me in that fight. But I beat 2 other guys to get to him. And Ali, I think his name was Ali. And he's just this big. It was worse. It's like he wore like Josh Barnett.
Yeah, those Valetudos.
Valetudos, but short. Like they're not even long. They were short and no shirt. And he had like all this meat on his. Yeah, he was like super hairy.
Don't do that,
dude. That's the guy I had to fight for the finals, and he beat me like on a couple points or something, like a couple takedowns. He just beat me, and I just remember afterwards, like we went to get our medals, and I remember getting the medals. I didn't think like I don't know. I didn't care about the medals. I cared about like having fun competing.
Yeah.
And then we're getting the medal. Like I just threw it in my bag. But I remember seeing those guys walk around with it all the rest of the day, primping, and they were from West Side. Remember Katie West Side?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of ego. Talk about red flags at a gym. There's a lot of ego. That's enough. If you see all your guys pumping around with a lot of ego, man, to me that's a red flag. And so they were like that because they were an MMA gym too. Yeah. And I remember they were pumping their chest out. I remember that guy Ali made a really crude comment. It really irritated. It's funny actually that it kind of bleeds into something I didn't think about till now, is rape culture in jiu-jitsu. Because Josh Hinger made a really interesting post about that just yesterday on his Instagram. But yeah, these guys had that same mentality because they made a comment. It just really turned my stomach because he was like, "Hey man, let's go get our medals and take our pictures with these hoes," and I was like, "Are you fucking 12? Like who talks like that, man?" It really it just irritated me, and I will talk about this next week maybe. But Josh Hinger made a really good post. He caught a screenshot of some guys talking about like a fangirl or some girl that trains jiu-jitsu that liked their picture and left a comment, and they were talking about how they need to go run a train on her. And he got a screenshot of it and posted it. He didn't leave the names on there, but he was putting it as a warning to girls, like, hey, and they were black belts too. Be aware of what these guys talk about you like and how their mentality is towards you. Yeah. This is what's going on. And I thought it was huge of Josh Hinger to do that because he's a big name athlete and high level guy, but it shows like integrity on his part to put that out there to warn women like, hey, there's a lot of shitty ass black belts out there that are trying to take advantage of their positions and whatever with women in jiu-jitsu. So it was a really interesting thing. It's something we could talk about, I think, next week. And it's a little heavy topic, but it's kind of an important topic because we've seen it. Yeah. Right? I mean, we've seen it. We see it to this day. You see that kind of shit going on. And a lot of women in jiu-jitsu don't realize. They think because a guy's a black belt or a brown belt or whatever. That he has integrity. That he's got the integrity and all this bullshit. And they don't. It's a fucking dude just like any other dude. He just wears a black belt. Yeah. Right? That doesn't give him integrity. So... Anyway.
Well, that's a good one, man. We can definitely talk about it next week. So remember, white belts, post up all your pictures, tag Bromos, and this guy, best picture, he'll get you a private, 30-minute private though only.
No. We're only going to get like 5 pictures because we've got like 150 followers. So, I mean, 5 of those maybe send us. And it'll probably be our white belt crew.
Yeah. That comes in. The white belt wolf pack that comes in. No, but see, here's the thing. It can't be like in an academy. Like, it's got to be a unique picture where it's like.
I'm just saying, those are the guys that are going to send us pictures.
Yeah, you better be at Starbucks.
I'll tell you what, if a guy goes to a gym, like Lifetime or some other fitness gym in their gi, and is lifting, fully lit, and is lifting and working out, I'll give that guy a private.
Fuck yeah, there it is.
30 minutes.
Come on, guys, don't let me down.
But first come, first serve. I'm not doing everybody that does
it. That's what she said. Hey, all right, let's get out of here, man. That was fun. Oh, shit. That'd be funny.